hopefully this can survive, and I'll keep watching the settings and see. Says we're up. Green lights. Green. Alright. I think we might actually be able to do this.
Yeah, there it is.
Alright.
You should go into IT.
No, because I didn't get any of the shit working that I wanted to work. Oh well. Alright.
That's why we can't have nice things.
Yeah, exactly. I think I just need a better streaming computer to use that program, even though it was really cool.
So send your donations to...
Yeah, exactly. Anyone listening to this...
morphneedsanewcomputer.com.
Yeah, I need a big, powerful desktop. But I don't know that that's going to be happening anytime soon. But, oh well. Alright, ready to start this thing?
Yes.
Alright, let's finally get this started. Let's start in 3, 2, 1... Welcome everybody to Geekvice episode 187, proving any vice with enough geek can become a virtue. My name's Morph, that man's Kip. Good evening, Kip.
Good evening.
Oh, we're finally getting up and running, only about an hour after we tried to get up and running. All kinds of problems with technical difficulties, trying new programs, and apparently a computer that can't handle to doing what we're trying to do anymore. So I'm gonna have to do something with this computer. I don't know what to do yet, but I gotta come up with something unless someone wants to buy me a new computer. Anyone?
How long have you had this computer?
This one's only been a couple of years, but I mean, the wear and tear on a laptop that's streaming and doing all this video editing that I've been doing, it's probably just started to beat up on it a little bit.
So in like we say, 1 year for a human is like 7 years for a dog. So yeah. 1 year for a human is like what, 35 for a computer?
Yeah, something like that.
Just guessing. So a 2-year-old. Well, hell, what does that mean about this computer I'm using? It's...
Yeah.
Holy cow! I can't remember when I bought it.
Yeah, it might be, actually this one's probably older than that, because I got this computer's at least 3 years old, because I want to say I got it before I started working at my current job. So, but still, it's taking a beating. I might have to just, I don't know, might have to wipe it, clean it up, and get rid of some extra crap out of it. And I'm sure there's a bunch of programs on this computer that I've never even used, so I should probably get rid of those.
Yeah, I think I bought this computer in 2014. So
that'll be 3 years.
Yeah. So it's ready for the retirement home.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that's the thing. I mean, with a lot of this stuff, especially the programs and things that I'm running on here to do all the streaming and everything, and pulling the videos in together, and running this different software at the same time, I think is what kind of puts a damper on things. So it's a lot of processing that has to be done on this end, and this computer apparently does not like processing.
It doesn't like the one thing it's meant to be doing.
Yeah, exactly. And on that same note, Geekvice Gaming might be put on hold a little bit. We'll see. That's not a streaming thing. That's just a recording thing. But the software that I'm using, that we're using right now to do this recording, is the same software that I use to do the Geekvice gaming, and I ran into a problem where it's not recognizing the video for whatever reason. I don't know if it started with the latest update to Windows 10, and I haven't been able to fix it yet. So
Yay,
Geekvice gaming,
Microsoft.
yeah, Geekvice gaming might be put on hold. I I want to blame Microsoft. I don't know if it's Microsoft or if it's the free software that I'm using. Um, Open Broadcaster software is a really good software. I really like it, but it's also free. So it has its limitations, and I'm sure one of those limitations is what I'm running into. So um, I'm trying to find a workaround for it. If I can get that figured out, then we'll have more videos up there. But I can't record videos to put up there yet, so there might not be anything for a little while. Not real happy about that because I was right in the middle of some good games that I have stopped playing because I want to record them, and that's kind of a bummer. So, but enough about that. What's going on with Holly's World? She still got how many episodes she got up there now?
She's got 3 up there, and we have submitted to iTunes. They just haven't put it up yet.
Sweet. So it's
So,
coming.
so as soon as we get that, we'll put links everywhere so people can listen to that goodness as well.
Awesome. She's still having fun with everything?
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's
She's
good.
in seventh heaven right now because she was just named athlete of the month at the CrossFit gym. So
Oh, that's cool.
yeah,
Even better. So if you want to know all about CrossFit and Holly's crazy world that she lives in, you should check out our podcast, Holly's World. It is, it's Holly's World. We're just living in it, right?
that's exactly right. And before iTunes gets their act together, you can go to Podbean and search for Holly's World Podcast, and you will find it. Just look for the
Perfect.
bright pink logo, and you'll know you're in the right place.
I like it. I like it. So, what have you been up to this last week? I mean, you survived Gen Con, you made it back,
I did. I did
and then
not get the convention crud. I did not get sick, so
that's
there's
good.
that.
Always a plus.
Always a plus. I've got 2 blog posts up now about Gen Con. I got 2 more to go. So I have
Awesome.
pictures of the board games I've played and some description of what they were. So go to our blog and check that out if you want to see what games and what I thought of them at Gen Con. It'll be there.
Very cool. Very cool.
And,
That's
and spoiler
Geekvice.
alert, I didn't
Yeah.
win any of them. So
To find our blog, go to geekvice.blogspot.com. That'll get you right there to it. Go check that stuff out. Um, we're gonna try to get more stuff up on the blog and try to be a little bit some more things up there, some more articles and reviews and whatnot of things that are easier in a picture and words format rather than in a talkie format.
oh, the talkie.
Yeah. But so last week, was it last week? No, two. Hold on, I got to bring up the calendar now.
The 18th.
The 18th, which was a week and a half ago, the Defenders came out, and that's when Kip was in Gen Con, so he didn't get to watch any of it that first weekend. I finished it shortly after that first weekend. Um, and we're going to talk all about it. I'm gonna warn you now. There's probably gonna be spoilers in this. So if you haven't seen it or haven't finished it yet, and you want to finish it before you listen to this, then you should probably pause, go watch it, come back. You'll finish it really quick because it's not as long as the other seasons, that's one of my complaints. But let's uh, let's start off with overall thoughts. Kip, what did you think overall about the Defenders?
Overall, I liked it. Um, I think as far as the Marvel shows on Netflix go, it's probably between Jessica Jones. Okay, so to me, it's Daredevil's the best one, and then Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, The Defenders, and then Iron Fist.
Yep.
Or as I
Yep.
like to say, the show that we just pretend never happened.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where I have it ranked too. I enjoyed the Defenders. I will say that I think the Defenders would have been better with a better performance from Iron Fist.
See,
I
see, that is where I struggle. Is Iron Fist crappy because of Finn Jones? Is that his name? Finn Jones?
Yeah.
Sounds right.
Yep.
Or is it crappy because of the way they wrote the character?
See, and that's what I'm hoping. After watching the defense, so you never finished Iron Fist, did you?
No, 3 episodes in, and I learned my lesson.
Okay. You quit watching it. I finished it. I watched the whole thing. And then I watched the Defenders. And the Iron Fist in the Defenders is the Iron Fist from his season. He's a he's an idiot. I tried to clean my language there just in case we get a young kid listening to this. He's an idiot. He's dumb. He is. He makes stupid decisions. He's childish. It's almost. It's almost like he hasn't grown up. And I. I don't know if that's on purpose or not.
And I think it is because, his plane went down when he was, what, 8?
Yeah, something like that.
So he has been removed from the world since he was an 8-year-old boy, raised by monks, basically sheltered from the entire world. So I think they did make the conscious decision to make him an 8-year-old trapped in a 25-year-old's body, or however old he's supposed to be,
Yeah.
and which is fine. I get that. Um, I'd like to think after however much time went by between the beginning of Iron Fist and the beginning of the Defenders,
Mm-hmm.
how much time in that city had actually gone by, that he at least wise up a little bit,
Yeah.
but he didn't.
No.
Not at all. It's kind of sad. There was, I think it was episode 4, where he actually did something, and I went, "Holy cow!" For the first time, I actually liked what Iron Fist did here. The rest of the time, I just wanted to shoot him.
Yeah. Was episode 4, was that the one? See, I think it was 3 was the one that I looked at. It's like, you just spent an entire, like, this was the epitome of stupidity, and that was when Iron Fist and, I forgot his name. I forgot her name. Wing. Christine Wing. His sidekick, Iron
Colleen.
Fist, Colleen. That's it, Colleen. Iron Fist and Colleen. Danny Rand and Colleen go to um, they've had the conversation, or I guess Iron Fist is, they've all met. All the heroes have met. They were in that Chinese restaurant. They have this conversation of, or no, I guess maybe they hadn't at that point. I don't fucking remember. Okay, anyway, it's the scene where Colleen and Danny go to Rand Industries or Enterprise or whatever, go up to the secretary and say, "Hey, can you Google this for me?" And then they find that it's Midland Circle is the head of the hand, which if it was that damn easy, why did they have, I mean, they all have smartphones. Every single one of them picked up a smartphone at some point, except the blind guy. And like you could have found that out off a smartphone. And then when he finds out that it's Midland Circle, he puts on a suit and tie and walks in like they're going to do, like they're going to just bend over and say, "Oh, it's the Iron Fist. Okay, we'll stop." I mean, it was like what it. I didn't understand it, and I didn't like that, and I can't remember if that was episode 3 or 4. It might
I
have.
think that was three. The end of three when he walked into there and it's like, I'm the immortal Iron Fist,
Yeah,
the protector
and
of Kunlun and blah blah blah. And they,
yeah,
of
because
course,
that's
Sigourney Weaver is like, you're cute. We're gonna beat
right.
you up now.
Yeah, because that's what leads into Luke Cage is there, Matt Murdock's there, Jessica Jones is all there. They end up getting together, fighting their way out of that, because they all found. I will say I liked episodes 1, 2, and then the end of 3 when they're having end of 3, beginning of 4 when they're fighting their way out. I liked that. I thought that was really well done. I liked what they did there.
Showed up and it was like, yeah, now we're in for it. This is great. But none of this had to happen if he didn't have his head up his ass. And
Right.
yeah, so when he did that, he walked into the conference room and he's like, I know what you're doing. I'm going to stop you, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, nobody would do this.
Yeah. Yeah, that's got to be like my least favorite scene of the whole season. Um,
Yeah, I would agree.
so on that same note, what what was your favorite scene?
See, I've been trying to think of one scene just stood out in their favor for me. Um, Nothing really. I think it came in bits and pieces for me. Every scene that had Jessica Jones and Daredevil together
Mm-hmm.
and her total disdain for the guy, I thought those two played off each other very well. So,
Yeah.
you look ridiculous. Well, it's your scarf, that kind of thing. I thought that worked really well.
Yeah,
Uh,
I did too.
Anything with Luke Cage, I'm all in. Um, I don't know. I like I said, I just couldn't nail it down to one particular scene. It was just a collection of moments for me. What about for
Right.
you?
The one scene that I thought was really good was I really liked the Chinese restaurant scene after they'd fought out of Midland Circle and they were there and Daredevil's ready to walk out. He's like, "No, I'm not taking off the scarf. I'm done. I'm out." And he starts to leave and Jessica Jones like walks up behind him and's like basically calls him out like you're the devil of Hell's Kitchen. And he's like, "How do you know?" Like, come on. Like,
Yeah,
really? Like like I'm a PI and it's kind of obvious.
yeah,
Like and he's like, "Oh." And it was that right there that kind of turned it into it went from, 4 people out at like going about things differently to a team of people trying to work together, even though they didn't do a very good job of it for a while. Um, I thought that was really cool. I really liked that. The other scene that I really liked was at the end when they are on the elevator trying to get up, and Jessica Jones is basically getting out ahead of them, like climbs out above the elevator, like service elevator, and Luke Cage and Danny are fighting people off on the elevator, and then the cable snaps, and you don't even see anything. You just see uh, the train car like shift down, like the elevator car shift down and stop, and then you see Luke Cage and Danny start climbing up out, and they see Jessica there, like holding them up, and I'm like, now that is a badass right there.
Yeah, that is true. You did touch on a good point. The the fact that how many times do you think they had to come together during the show? I mean, they fought out of the Midland Circle,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, all right, now they're a team, and then they're in the Chinese restaurant and they're fragmenting, and then they finally come together, and then they fragment again later on, and then they finally come together. I kind of felt like this is getting a little overdone, but then the more I think about it, the more it's like they have no real reason to stay a team because all four of them have these gifts and they use them for different reasons. Luke
Yeah.
Cage just wants to do right. He used to be a cop. He likes being the savior of Harlem. He's good with that.
Yeah.
Jessica Jones is really strong. She can do a lot of good things. She just doesn't want to. She wants to be left alone.
Right.
Um, Daredevil wants to do the right thing, but he knows he puts everybody he loves in jeopardy, so he's wanting to not be the devil of Harlem or of
Hell's
Hell's
Kitchen.
Kitchen. He
Yeah.
does and he doesn't. You know,
Yeah.
he's conflicted within himself. How's he going to join up with a team? And then, of course, Danny Rand Iron Fist. He is not there to do anybody any good other than save the mystical city of Kunlun. And so he has really no motivation.
Yeah.
All he wants to do is take down the hand. He could give a shit about New York.
Right.
So all four of them have a different motivation, and they all four come at it from such a different direction that there's no way they could really trust each other.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
and I think they did a good job of portraying that um, throughout the show. Like I thought they did a really good job, and I kind of like that coming in and out. The fact that um, the fight scene between the heroes, I thought was awesome. I also like the fact that that was like that building was a condemned building from the like from the Luke Cage series. That was the nightclub that the big one of the big fights happened in. So I thought that was really cool. Like I liked
Yeah,
how they used that. Um, I liked how they ended up. I liked the scene with Danny tied up and Luke Cage basically saying you're a white billionaire, like, and you're hurting like low income people. You're basically fighting poor people, and you're a white billionaire. How do you think this looks?
yeah. I
Like,
mean, he even called him. Didn't he even use white privilege in there
yeah,
as well? I
yep,
mean,
yep.
so
Like,
yeah. So there's no trust, and there shouldn't have been. And going in watching the defenders, like well, you're superheroes, you should just work together. And then the more I thought about it, the more it's like, yeah, I think they handled it correctly. I didn't
yeah,
like the fact it took so long, but that's not on them. That's on me. So
right, right.
yeah,
And I think by the end, you're starting to see some of the spots that might actually take off. You see, um, now Matt Murdock Daredevil, as far as they know, is gone and dead, so he's out of the picture. But the whatever he whispered into Iron Fist's ear at the end as he was getting ready to, getting ready to go up that elevator, and then you see the scene of Iron Fist kind of almost like a Daredevil type scene. I'm hoping that what we see is we see Iron Fist take on a more, like, a less try to destroy the hand role and more of a help the city, like be an actual hero role.
Yeah. Well, didn't he say that he said he told him to protect his city? Isn't that what he said? He whispered in his ear.
Yeah, I think Danny mentions that.
Yeah. So I am hoping that that takes root, and
Yeah,
it at least makes me feel like Iron Fist would actually be worth something at that point.
right, right.
Um,
And the other thing is, I hope so from a TV show, from a production side, I hope they get an Iron Fist costume where his face is obscured, because then they can get a stunt double that can do the fighting way better than Finn Jones. Like, I mean,
yeah.
I'm trying not to bash on the guy, but his fight scenes, like, they had to cut them up so much because they weren't fluid, they weren't smooth. And if you want to see, like, when Daredevil is fighting, it is smooth.
Yes.
Charlie Cox is amazing. I can't say that enough. He is flat out amazing. I love his choreography and the fight sequence he was doing. If the only thing that might be better than his is if you go watch Into the Badlands and watch the fight scenes in Into the Badlands. Like,
Right.
that's what Finn Jones needs to watch and go, "Oh, I need to be more like that." Because that is what the Iron Fist should be like. That is what the Iron Fist, like, he's the immortal Iron Fist. He is supposed to be the strongest, not the strongest, he's supposed to be the best martial artist in the world. He's spent all these years, like you said before, he's a child trapped in a 20 something year old man's body. He's had from 8 to 20 something, all he did was train martial arts. He should be really damn good at it.
You would think so.
And he should not get his ass kicked by old ladies.
Well, she's kind of a special old lady, but I agree. Um, I don't know. Um, yeah, you did feel how much they cut up his action sequences. I also felt the same way about Jessica Jones and those fast-paced action sequences.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of felt like Kristen Ritter struggled a little bit, and
Well, but you.
I think there's one really good example, and I can't remember what episode it is, but they're in that big warehouse kind of thing. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
the warehouse where they held that guy from the hand, and there's a scene where I think it's her and Matt Murdock are running, and Matt Murdock goes up above, and you can see
Mm-hmm.
her running underneath. Oh my God, they should have reshot that. her her running through there was so bad.
Yeah.
It was almost like she was trying to portray a cartoon character running.
Oh no.
It was
I
yeah.
missed that
So
one. I'm gonna have to go watch that again.
well, when she's running away and the camera's kind of behind him, like, holy shit, Kristen Ritter cannot run. And then the camera goes to up above, and she runs by, like, wow, that is bad.
The Yeah, it's, I mean, I liked how she basically, it was early on, it was within the first, it was before they'd teamed up, but when her and Murdoch were kind of fighting together, and she makes some comment about, what, am I the only one who doesn't know karate? Like,
Yeah,
that was pretty funny. I enjoyed that. But um
yeah.
kind
We
of in
don't
that
watch Jessica Jones for the action sequences. You
no.
watch
And
Jessica Jones because she's a badass, smart ass,
yeah.
all of those
And
things.
and she's the detective. She's the
Right.
PI. And that's where I hope that they will take, like, what I hope we're going to see is I hope we're going to see a Heroes for Hire season, whether it's um, somewhere where it's, I wouldn't even mind if it was Jessica Jones and Luke Cage working together as Heroes for Hire. I know the actual Heroes for Hire is Iron Fist and Luke Cage, but you know, I wouldn't mind not seeing Iron Fist in it and seeing them replace Jessica Jones with that, and I think that would actually end up being really good.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, it would be nice for the people who are for hire are the ones who need the cash and not the billionaire rich kid.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was. I don't know. I thought it was really good. Who did you think was the best actor in this series?
Well, outside of Sigourney Weaver,
Yeah, because she was just flat out amazing, and I
she
was
was
ticked
amazing.
when they killed her.
But probably Charlie Cox.
Yeah,
And then to me the next one is Elodie Young, who played Electra.
yeah,
I thought she did a great job as well. Nothing against Mike Coulter or Christian Ritter or anything like that. It's just I felt like they were just a level above everybody else.
yeah. I mean, Sigourney Weaver's character, she was commanding, and I gotta say, I hope that because I know some of this stuff was kind of already shot and already written. I hope that they take some of the feedback when they write some of the next ones, and they don't kill the the main badass bad guy halfway through. Like,
Yeah.
can we like leave them alive a little bit so that we can actually have a season with a bad guy instead of a season with two or three bad guys? Because I thought Sigourney Weaver was awesome, and I really wish they wouldn't have killed her.
Yeah, they start the whole thing off with her in the doctor's office saying she's dying.
Right.
So you knew she wasn't going to make it anyway. Then they tried to replace her with Elektra. I guess that works because you don't know, Matt Murdock survived the building collapse. Maybe Elektra did as well. I
Right.
guess we'll find out.
Yeah,
But
you know she did. Well, because she's basically immortal now. They she's basically the same as the five members of the hand
yeah,
that
but if they don't have
but
the substance,
that's what they were extracting from that dragon bones.
right? Does she have it?
Well, somebody has it, so if they can
Yeah,
find her, they can bring her back, I think.
this is true.
If she's not,
Yeah,
if she's just really hurt. I mean, she came back from the dead once. I'm sure they could do it again.
yeah, I suppose so. So who do you
Um,
think was the worst?
the well, sorry, Finn. Sorry. Um, I gotta say Finn Jones. I thought his character was awful. Like, and again, like we said before, I don't know that it's his fault. I I don't know, but I have a hard time believing that it's at least not partially his fault, because he didn't even seem believable as the guy who, as this billionaire kid. Like, I just didn't buy anything he was selling. Whenever he was on the screen, whenever he was talking, not even just on the screen, whenever he was talking, I just looked at it like, are you really this stupid? Can you not see 3 feet in front of your face?
Yeah, see, and again, I don't think that's his fault. I think that was what he was given. Um,
I
with
hope
that
so.
said, least favorite character, obviously, but the one I felt was really a wooden actor and it bothered me was Colleen Wing, uh, Jessica Henwick.
Yeah.
I felt like every time she had to talk, it was a little bit high school play. You know, it's like she read the line. Good job, you got all the words, but it just didn't feel like there was anything there.
Well, and I kind of felt like that across the board from the sidekick type characters. I mean, you didn't need as much as I like the Trish Walker, I think
The
is her
cop?
name. No, Trish is
No,
Jessica
Rachel Taylor.
Jones's friend. Yeah,
Yeah, Rachel Taylor.
and then her her neighbor that was there in the police station as well as the one of the protected ones. Like they didn't need to be there. They didn't really have any point in being there. Not that they were bad. That was another scene that was flat out awful. Did you see that the scene where Trish and Colleen? No, it wasn't Trish and Colleen. It was Trish and
Karen.
Karen were standing there in front of the board and they're having this conversation like they've known each other for years and neither one of them actually said their name.
Yep.
like, I'm pretty sure you don't know who that person is. And that's the thing, they might actually know who they are, and I'm sure there was a scene filmed where they had that and it just got edited out and they and it didn't it kind of needed to be in there. It just made that scene fall flat because you're looking at it going like when they got done talking I'm like, well, one, why were they even talking to each other, and two, why didn't do they even know each other? How would they know each other? They're from two different series. It's like, yeah, they're the same area, they're both journalist type people, but there's a lot of journalists in New York. You think they all know each other? Like,
Well, I think by the time that scene happened, we were supposed to get the impression that they'd been locked up together in the police station for a while.
right.
So maybe there was some of that, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. But again, I don't want to bash it. I will say the other part of the story that kind of bothered me a little bit was the um, the fact that the dragon was underneath New York and not in Kung Lao, Kung Lao, Kung Lao, Kung Lung, Kung Lung. You know what I mean? Like, because was that a doorway to get to Kung Lang, or
I
was
think it
that?
was. I think it
And
was.
they didn't explain it well enough, and I would have liked some more explanation. Because why, if they really needed this dragon so bad, why couldn't they have just gone back? Like, why couldn't they have gotten it when they killed everybody in Kung Lang? Which Electra said she's the one that killed everybody. So it's like I'm confused. I'm confused on that. It was kind of the same thing that led to being confusing in the Iron Fist series. That it was just like you didn't understand the motivation at the end and what actually was there. They didn't give you enough. They left it like, here, it's just there.
Yeah.
Accept it. Move forward. And it just kind of it didn't help it, the series. So, um,
Yeah.
but I think this is a good I think this is a good starting spot. Like, I think it's moving in the right direction. Um, and I'm looking forward to what they're gonna do next. Like, um, and if did you stick around through all of the credits at the very end of the last episode?
No, what did I miss?
Oh, you need to go back and watch. Fast forward to the end, and you get to see the Punisher.
Ah,
So they actually, and you could probably find it on YouTube or on the internet, pictures of it. But we finally get to see the Punisher. Um, we get to
Yeah,
see. We don't. I'm trying to think. Like, I think they show him a little bit, but he's basically slamming a sledgehammer down into the ground, and then when the camera backs away, it's the Punisher skull, like basically crushed out of the concrete. Really cool. I think that's the next series on
it
Netflix.
it is. I just looked up Deborah Ann Wall, who plays Karen, and she is credited with I don't know. It looks like 5 episodes of The
Yeah,
Punisher. No, she's
yeah,
in all of them. All
all of them.
13 episodes.
Yeah, I had heard she was going to be in there. And so with her character, I really hope what we don't get is I hope that they give her a little bit more of a character to work with, because some better dialogue, some because the whole whining of stop killing people, like stop being the devil of Hell's Kitchen that she kept running with, saying to Matt, was really annoying. Like, especially by the end, it's like he is Daredevil. Just you've got to learn to live with that. Like, that's who he is, and she's not going to change. The Punisher. So just stop trying to change people and just like be a little bit more. I'm hoping that she ends up being that person that ends up helping him more than just standing there complaining about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with that. I kind of felt like at this point, and with everything he had done, that you would just kind of be like, well, this is what he has to do, you know,
Mm-hmm.
then not resent him for it, not give him the silent treatment, whatever she was doing. He took down Fisk. Is that right? Is that the name?
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Yes.
And yeah, he got the snot beat out of him a dozen times or whatever, but
Right.
it's who he is. I mean, it's in his blood. At this point, I felt like there should have been hardly any separation between Matt Murdock and the Devil of Hell's Kitchen, and she just wouldn't let him have that.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
felt that was unfair to hit to Matt Murdock to put that on him, and
Right.
it affected, and to me it affected what he could do in the Defenders
Mm-hmm.
for most of the show,
Yeah. Well, up to the point where Foggy brings him the suitcase or brings him the duffel bag
and
and
sets him
says,
free. Yeah,
I brought you a change of clothes, and it didn't even click in Matt's head until he opens up the bag and sees the costume in there, and is like, "All right, I know what I need to do now." So,
yeah. And I think Foggy even says it was setting him free, and
yeah,
it's like it shouldn't have been Foggy that had to do that.
yeah,
It
yeah.
should have been Karen.
I
But
think it would have meant. I think it would have. I think it would have gone a long way with her character. Now, in the comic books, her character dies really, really early. She's not around for very long,
oh,
and
really?
there's yeah, she's not in a lot of the comic books. Um, she's kind of the Uncle Ben to Daredevil. The loss that teaches him that that one, I can't let any of this stuff go, and two, I have to protect all the people that I love, because what I is if anyone finds out who I am, everybody's in trouble. So, um, that secret identity is an important thing. That's the role she plays in the comic books, and they've kept her alive. in the TV series, but I will say she's starting to outlive her usefulness if they don't try to change up the if they don't push her character a little bit farther.
And I
So,
agree with that. And the thing is I like Deborah Ann Wall. I liked her in True Blood.
mm-hmm.
I liked her in the Daredevil series. It just she was a handicap in the Defenders, and I did not like that. Just like you,
Yeah.
I felt like she needed to. They need to figure out what to do with her. Kill her off or make her more supportive. It can't stay down the middle of the road like it's been.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed. So, all right. So your final thoughts on it? Two thumbs up. Go see it. Go see it. Get it on
Go see it. Well,
Netflix.
it's on Netflix. I think it's worth the watch. Um, it. What's funny is it still felt like, at least for the first two, maybe three episodes, it just felt like you were watching the individual shows again.
Yeah.
You're watching Luke Cage be Luke Cage, and then we'd switch over and you could watch Jessica Jones do her thing, and switch over and watch Matt Murdock. So it kind of felt like that. Um, you also hope that the Iron Fist scenes go by much quicker than they do, so you can get on to more interesting people.
Yeah.
But we bashed it a lot tonight. But I think overall, it got 8 out of 10 on IMDb. I'm willing to go 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
I think it's worth the watch. I think there's far worse out there than this show. Um,
Mm-hmm.
if you like superheroes, you like the Marvel stuff that Netflix has done up to now, you're gonna like this show. At least
Right.
I think you will. So yeah, sit down and watch it.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. I'd give it. I'd say a 7 out of 10. I have it ranked right where you've got it ranked. It's it's better than Iron Fist, but not quite as good as Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, and way below Daredevil. But Daredevil was, and I mean that's a whole nother topic for another night. But of the characters, Daredevil's the most defined, and Iron Fist is the least, with motivation and what they're trying to do. So it's I am curious to see what happens with future seasons. I'm curious to see where they take Jessica Jones, because Jessica Jones in the comic books was kind of her big run in the comic books was One Trick Pony. They got that out in the first season. She defeated Kilgrave in the first season. So now what are they going to have her do? Are they going to have her go back to being a PI? How is that going to? I hope that gets her to interact with some other things. But yeah, this is definitely worth a watch. Go check it out on the Netflix. 8 episodes. That's all it is. 8 episodes. 13 episodes for all the individual seasons. This one's only 8. Little bummed out on that. I was hoping for another 5 episodes, but hey, whatever. Whatever works for them.
Yep, I agree. We've got Punisher coming up soon, so we'll see what we end up with that. And hopefully it doesn't fall below Iron Fist
Yeah, yeah,
and stays up on the
exactly.
pedestal with the other three. So
Yeah, I hope so. So, alright, guys, that's where we're going to wrap it tonight. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Hopefully, everyone is able to enjoy this in their ways they like to enjoy it. If there's any issues with anything, let me know so that I can try to get those fixed for next ones. And we'll try to get. I've got fancy tools that I can use if I can get this new software to work. So we'll give it a shot, and maybe next week we'll have a new look to us. So Until then, check us out on our blog, geekvice.blogspot.com. You can read all about Kip's trip to Gen Con and all the games he played. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/geekvice.
You just went quiet.
Hey, I muted my mic. I hit my mute button. Whoops. Follow us on geekvice.blogspot.com, facebook.com/geekvice. That man over there on Twitter at Kip Killigan. You can follow me at Geekvice. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, tiny.cc/geekvice. That will let you know when we start recording. And you can come join us in the chat room. And of course, you can always email us and let us know your thoughts on the Defenders and all those characters at geekvice@gmail.com. Thanks everyone for listening to our ramblings, and we will see you next week.
Later.
This podcast is part of the Podcast Arcade Network.